ask Coach about it, but season high rushing attempts and yards for you. Is that, from your perspective, did you want to do that more coming into the game, or were you reacting to what Tulane was showing you?
We just knew on film they were going to play a lot of man, and that quarterback run was going to be a big aspect of what we did this past week. Like I say all the time, me and Rome, we kind of are quarterbacks and running backs. They kind of work one-on-one with each other, hand in hand. When the defense focuses on Rome, they forget about me, and when they focus on me, they forget about Rome. So yeah, that's what kind of helped us work this past week.
To that, you haven't run as much as you used to this season. Is that speaking to your growth as a passer, or is it more just what you're seeing from defenses?
Yeah, going into the season and previous years, I've wanted to develop my game as a passer. A lot of people look at me as a dual threat quarterback and one who uses his legs a lot to run. As myself, I wanted to see myself, stay in the pocket, deliver the passes downfield, and then, really just use your legs when needed. Obviously, when there's situations of when I need to run, I'm going to run. And then, when I need to make plays, make plays. Obviously that goes back to the coaching and the calls they make as far as, when they want me to run the ball and, when they tell me to be aggressive. So, when those times comes, I'm going to be aggressive, I'm going to pull the ball, and I'm going to make plays.
Des, were you a fan of college game day growing up? Did you watch it at all?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. And
I'm just curious what your thoughts are. I know you had the big story with you and your girlfriend, your daughter, earlier this year on game day. But just to have them come to campus, does that excite you at all? Or?
Yeah, no, for us and the football team, it changes absolutely nothing for us. We still have the same exact schedule we have. We'll have the same schedule on Saturday. But I think more for the students here at the university and for the city and the campus and the community, it's huge for us. I know I was a junior in high school when college game day had came down to the University of Louisville against Florida State. And so I had got to kind of go there and experience the atmosphere of what college game day, like as far as the show and everything is about. So I got to experience that a little bit down there in high school. And it was a good time. And so I know, just bringing something like that here to campus that's never been here before, I think the fans are going to enjoy it.
You guys have now played 2 games ranked as the number 2 team in the country. Both of those games have been close. Are you liking how this team, as one of the leaders, is reacting and handling everything that comes with being the top 2 team in the country?
Yeah, I don't think we look at ourselves as the top 2 team in the country. I think, we just come into work every single day, day in and day out, and, nothing really changes. I don't think things would change if we was ranked, 31st or whatever it was. We're just, like I said, we come in here, work day in, day out. We know Tuesday, Wednesdays are our tough, grindy days. And so those are our 2 main work days. And, we like to come in here and really just get to it early this morning watching film. Guys, get bodies healthy, get our bodies back right for the coming week. But like I said, we just work day in and day out, and our mindsets don't usually change.
Coach said that the bodies of younger people are going to be okay. They regroup quickly, but the mind is a thing. What have you done personally this year, especially lately, given the increased height, to kind of work on your own mind in that regard?
Yeah, so that's obviously a huge thing that he's preached to us, even throughout the off season when we're getting into those later workouts where all we've done is lift weights for the past 6 months. Our muscles are tight and our bodies are sore, and then we got to go out and run the stadium steps. But for me, it's really just taking the time away from social media, from the phone, and really just, staying around our brothers and around the team. I feel like that's really what helps us out a lot, is just being around each other, because, we know what we want to accomplish, within this building, inside the team. But, it really you start to worry when people go back home or people really go hang out with other people who aren't a part of the team and a part of the program, because that's when you really start to hear the outside noise. So for me, I just try to stay in here, stay a part of this team, and stay close to my brothers.
You're trying to shield that outside noise. Is it frustrating at all that so much of this season is viewed through that playoff prism, outside, attention, expectations, when you're undefeated and number 2 in the country?
Yeah, I think everyone should kind of have the same aspect we do of, just take it week by week and look at the game that we play ahead of us. And not something, people start talking about this in mid-June, mid-July, and it's like we haven't even played a football game yet. So, I think if everyone just looked at it how we do on a week-by-week basis, a lot of the talk would just be focused on what we just did this past week or, what we're going to do this coming week instead of, what we could possibly do in 2 months from now.
How has the hype and/or what the experts have said you need to do to be able to stay contention for a playoff, how has that affected your team's performance, especially lately?
Yeah, I don't think it's affected us at all. You look at the past couple games and, we're supposed to be, blowing these teams out and putting up big numbers on the scoreboard. And for us, we like to say a win's a win. Find a way to win, and that's what we do. You look in these past scores, and I think, it was 31-12 or whatever it may be. And, you obviously should be excited about that. And people were, don't get me wrong. But there's just a different vibe coming in here on, Saturday nights, riding back home on the bus or coming in here on Sunday morning. Obviously, we're excited to win and we're grateful to win. But, I don't think that people are necessarily hearing it from the outside media of, oh, you should have put up 50, 60 points, rather than it's coming from ourselves of, we know that we can play that much better, and we know that, yeah, the score should have been that, and it wasn't, and we know that we have things that we can work on and can improve on, and I think that's what keeps us going every single week.
Is it frustrating that the last couple of weeks teams have kind of slowed the game down? I know you had the expectation to score a lot, but teams are kind of playing ball control, making it where you only get X amount of possessions. Is that frustrating, just you being a leader, being the trigger man, so to speak, on these last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I know it definitely frustrates me sitting on the sideline and just kind of watching, them take the time and go on offense and go slow. And so if I know it frustrates me, I know it, it kind of gets, I know those O-linemen like to stay moving. They can't sit in the sideline for too long before they starting to stiffen up. But no, obviously for us, in the years past, we've been used to, defense getting a 3-and-out or, maybe just a quick 6-play drive and then we're back on the field. So, obviously we were prepared for it for Navy, for them to obviously slow the game down, limit our possessions. Coming into Tulane, obviously we weren't expecting that. Their offense did a good job of staying on the field, controlling the time of possession. But, moving forward, obviously we know that if teams want to do that, teams are going to try to do that to the best of their abilities. And we have to be ready for that in any situation that comes forward.
You talked about your tight end, your connection with your tight ends earlier in the season. We saw Lenny had a big game last week, early in the season. Talk about Josh Wiley now having back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns. What it's like seeing him getting involved now late in the season.
Yeah, you would say in the beginning of the season he wasn't out playing his best ball, or the ball wasn't finding him as much, and now it is. I just think that goes into his hard work and his preparation of what he does day in and day out. And I think both of them, both Lenny Taylor and Josh Wiley, they do a great job of, the past 2 weeks. Josh Wiley has been the offense player of the game and has gotten all this credit and all this attention, and LT just kind of gets pushed in the back. And I think when that happens, and it could be vice versa and flip-flop, they do a great job of supporting each other, keeping each other up, and not being too down of, oh, LT didn't get the ball this week or he didn't get the player of the game, so he's going to go in the room and go pout. They don't do that. They do a great job of being brothers, and and I think that shows kind of their maturity and their leadership of not only the team but their group of tight ends as individuals.
The college football playoff rankings are released for the first time tonight. How interested are you to find out where you?
Yeah, so I was actually asked to speak on the show tonight, and I respectfully passed on that. As much as we want to be on there and everything, that's not something we're focused on right now. If it was a show about the American Athletic Conference standings, I probably would have joined it, because we can't do anything without these next 4 games and then the conference championship game. So we're excited and blessed to be able to be a part of the show and be able to have our name and program on the show. But like I said, we're just worried about this week and the coming weeks ahead.
Do you guys think about the fact that Tulsa played you so closely last year in that conference championship game, and does that game hold any ground on this weekend?
Oh yeah, for sure. We know that over there in Oklahoma, they're wanting to get up here really bad and play us again. And so we know that, you know, like every team, they're going to give us their all. They're going to give us our best, except they have a little something more because, you know, they still have a bad taste in their mouth from last season. So we know that this game is going to be like, you know, any other, and that the team's going to give us and play the hardest they can. And that's something that we have to be ready for and be able to expect. And, you know, we can't start slow, have to start fast, and be able to finish the game throughout all 4 quarters.
And how much will the home crowd help you with that starting fast?
Huge. You know, coming out here, obviously, like you said, college game day, homecoming, a lot of former players, former people just that have been to Cincinnati's coming back, sold out game, red. I mean, there's not much more you could ask for when you talk about playing in Nibber Stadium. And then obviously, you know, there was only a select few amount of fans who got to see that game last year in person. So for them to come out here and watch us play again this week, it's going to be exciting.
You talked about your development as a passer. It felt like last year and maybe even early this year, some teams were like daring you to throw the deep ball. You guys had some success doing that early. Have you seen that flip? Are teams now trying to back up and prevent you from hitting those deep shots?
Yeah, you know, you start to see the safety starting to get a lot deeper, taking away the deep threat. You know, maybe Shea and AP a little bit more. So, you know, for me, I have to work my eyes opposite way. And then, you know, they talk about pressure on the quarterback and getting pressure on the quarterback. And that's one way you're going to take away any type ball. So we've seen a lot more teams, you know, bring us pressure, and that's just going to open up our quick game. But, you know, we talk about playing complementary football as far as offense and defense. But as far as offense and being, you know, run, pass, this and that, you know, we want to use our quick game to open up our passing game. So just getting the ball out quick in guys' hands like Trey Tucker, Tyler Scott, Mike Young, just getting it to them quick and letting them go make plays is going to open up our game tremendously.
Is that rewarding for you as a quarterback to see, and as an offense, to see defenses respond, you know, show you one thing and then kind of respond to having success in it?
Yeah, it's definitely rewarding. It's also a little difficult when, you know, you go out there and you prepare for a week for one thing and they come out there and throw you something different at you. But, you know, that's something that we got to just adjust on the fly and go at.
Anything else?
Thank you.